Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad. So we've got a great show for you guys today. To kick things off, we're going to go over some of the details of Monday's latest Apple Keynote. After that, we're going to let you guys know how to set up your own live video set for a permanent fixture in your home or office. After that, we've got a special guest. We've got Anthony Burokas here from the Switcher Studio Enthusiast Group, and he's going to chat with you guys for a little bit. So definitely stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a moment.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Stream Squad. If it's your first time watching, my name is Jimmy.
I'm Angela.
Hey, I'm Dan behind the camera.
If you didn't know, we do this show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time right here at facebook.com/Switcher Studio. So if you're watching this on a replay, please come over and see us when we're doing this show live. But yeah, for those of you who are watching live right now, please tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Give us a comment. Let us know where you're watching the show. Dan and I are both kind of checking throughout the show, just saying, hey, checking in on what you all are talking about, what you think about the topics we're presenting. So please do that. And do share this video also. I mean, it's really easy. You just share. You hit the little arrow, you share it out. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
That's what I
bring in more friends.
Yes, more people, more viewers. That's what we want. Have this conversation going. Great show for you today. As we just highlighted, we do have Anthony Baracus, who's going to be here. In fact, I've got Anthony in my ears over here. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hello, man.
We're going to be talking to him a little bit later on today. So stay tuned to that. We got Anthony. He's going to tell us all about what's coming up with NAB and how he's going to be using Switcher at that. And also, we're just going to kind of find out more about his history with video and how he uses Switcher. Hopefully, he can tell us about how Switcher has made his life easier, ultimately, and he's found inner peace through it. Something like that. We'll talk about some.
Hey, and you know what's a great thing you guys can do?
Uh-oh, we got a special guest.
I got 2 smoothies.
Nick.
It's not good, but it's one of your rolls.
Okay.
It's a secret smoothie.
Oh man. Now, so this is gonna be.
Well, anyways, what I was going to say there is, if you guys have questions for Anthony as well in the comments, please put them in there. And you know, we do our first couple segments here, but then when we bring him in, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer those questions as well. He's a wealth of knowledge, knows tons of stuff, so is very helpful in the user group. Knows quite a bit.
Our CEO, Nick Mattingly, joining us briefly to drop off a mystery smoothie.
Special smoothie guest.
He said it's a bad smoothie. It's like, man, no one asked for that. Well, so we'll make a game out of this. Let's see, stick around to figure out who takes the first sip of the smoothie of doom. Ugh. Anyhow, we should probably get into the actual segments for the show.
Now? We got a Newsflash. If I can find the thing to play. There it is.
The elusive Newsflash. So on today's Newsflash, I'm going to give you a quick recap of some of the topics that were discussed at Apple's most recent meetup event. Big announcement. It was totally talked about beforehand, so it shouldn't be too surprising to anybody who read the news days leading up to it. Apple has released they're starting doing a new TV service called Apple TV Plus. I personally have an Apple TV, so I'm kind of interested to see what this looks like. And see how this works, but they also have a new subscription service for games and other kinds of and magazines as well. So this is really interesting. I've got a couple other points here. So they got the streaming video service, Apple TV Plus. Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston were there to kick that off. I guess they have a show that's going to be featured on this. They did not specify exactly how much it's going to cost up front. So I'm kind of interested to see if it's going to be competitive with something like Netflix, or if it's going to be super cheap, or maybe it comes free with some other service bundled through Apple. Of course, there's always different things. I mean, they already have Apple Music, so we'll see with that. Also, they announced a $9.99 tier of Apple News it's a News Plus app, so I guess this is your way of getting different subscriptions through magazines and things like that. They also said it would release a credit card called the Apple credit card. I've heard that it's made out of titanium. So,
nice.
You know.
Apple credit.
Yeah, Apple credit. All these things, in addition to a few weeks prior, they had released a new iPad and some AirPods. Those weren't part of the announcement specifically, but those are all bundled up in this sort of recent announcement. So new services coming from Apple. It doesn't really greatly affect our live video production and streaming world, but it's interesting to see that they're kind of taking a step towards, I guess, trying to get their hands dirty in the market of video streaming, you know, like just doing something with, like Netflix is doing and Hulu and you name it, all those other ones. So we'll see where this goes. Very curious.
Yeah. Not as exciting as some of the other ones, where I have to take the headphones out of my ear. You start hearing an echo if you keep it in. And
yeah.
It makes it fun to talk at that point.
Speaking of, in our next segment, we will be having a video, and I do notice there's a little bit of static in there, so I'm going to fix that for you all. If anybody's hearing a little bit of static, we'll get that fixed in this next segment. I don't want to go into that before we finish anything else here, so if there's any other...
No, that's it for news. Is anybody in the comments? Where are people watching from?
Yeah, well, I see a familiar face of Anthony here, watching from Texas.
Anthony is both in the comments and live.
Mike is in here, says backyard. Is it like our backyard?
Our backyard. What?
I don't know. I like Nick Wood here in the comments says that smoothie looks like something we used to make in chemistry lessons at school.
Here, I'll put it
Nick,
more between us,
wrong.
so it seems like there's an even chance of either one of us having it.
Matt's watching from the UK. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're glad to have everybody on the show watching from around the world, apparently. So really excited to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. And I think it's time we check out some live video strategy.
Yeah.
Get rid of that lower third.
Now's the time. Angela, you did this video.
I did. You guys get to see a video from me. So this is going to be all about designing a set for your live video. So as you can see, we've got our normal set, you know what to expect. And the cool thing is whenever we need to go live or we need to record a video, all we have to do is switch on the light, switch on the camera, and we're all set. It's really good to have a set because that way you eliminate, you know, that setup time and that teardown time. And it's a lot easier to create a set than you would think. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this video, and you guys will get some nice tips and pointers to get a permanent set in your home or your office. Hey guys, it's Angela with Switcher Studio, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about set design. So we've talked to you guys before about going live anywhere, but it's always great to have a set in place at your home or at your office or place of business. You don't have to worry about putting things up in order to go live. You don't have to worry about breaking them down when your live video is done. You don't have this extra stuff to do. You can just sit down, turn on your camera, and go live. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about how to put your set together quickly and easily in your home or your office. So first, you're going to want to choose a background for your set. So this is the first impression your audience is going to have of you. Think about when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, you're seeing all of this content, and if the background looks interesting, you know, the colors are popping, there's cool things around on the walls, you're going to stop and see what's going on. Keep in mind that audiences like to see vibrant, happy colors. They like seeing more than just a plain white wall. So you might get a backdrop that you can put up behind you. That way you don't have to worry about painting a wall. If you are in a situation where you can paint, think about the color scheme that works good for your business. If there's a certain color scheme that everyone knows you for, also think about what you look like. If you have blonde hair, you don't really want a pale yellow background. If you have fun hairstyles, like let's say blue hair, you don't really want a blue background. Those things are gonna cause you to blend into that background. So keep in mind what you look like, what your guests look like, and what your company's colors are, and use that to pick the color scheme of your paint or your backdrop. Also, if there's a cool spot in your home or your office, such as we have this nice brick setup, what we did to add some more dimension is a cool lighting setup. So you can see going on behind me, the lights are changing. So if there is a really cool, you know, background that you wish to use instead of a plain white wall, do that, and just adding a little bit of lighting can really make a difference. Speaking of lighting, you can have the best background ever, you can have the best props ever, but it doesn't make a difference if you don't have adequate lighting. Even if you have what you feel is a great natural light source, what your background looks like during the day versus the night, or during sunny weather versus rainy weather, it's going to be different, and it's an element you can't control. These are some great tips to create your own permanent set design for your home or your office. All of these tips can be found at our blog at switcherstudio.com. Be sure to subscribe for all of the latest blog posts, and also be sure to subscribe to where you're watching this right now for all of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay, so thank you guys so much for tuning in for that. Again, that's a nice little teaser of the full video. So be sure to go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ I think it's C/Switcher Studio, and that'll take you directly there. Be sure to subscribe, but also watch that for all of the full tips on creating your own live video set. And of course, be sure to check out our blog. So that is at switcherstudio.com/blog. The written write-up of creating your live video set is going to be on there, along with a bunch of other cool tips and strategies. The fun part about this is we are the writers of the blog pieces, so you get to hear from us. It's us.
Literally us.
On ways to improve your live video. It's something that everyone can take away from. Even if you guys right now are doing recorded video, there's still a lot of tips in there as well for getting more engagement and view counts on your recorded videos too.
Yeah,
that's where you can see the whole video.
Hey, that's where you can go see it. It's not published yet, I'll be honest with you though. That's the secret.
Coming #soon.
#very soon. Soon and very soon. Well, hey, speaking of very soon, more like right now, we're going to get into our next segment, and I think it's time to, I don't know, Dan, switch it up. What do you say?
Let's do it.
So, as we mentioned earlier, we've got a special guest here with us, and I guess we're going to call this sort of segment our user spotlight, and we've got none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Burokas. Right here, extremely outspoken expert, if I do say so, in the Switcher Studio enthusiast group, which we will mention later on, but it's our Facebook user group. Anthony is super helpful getting some of the beginners with Switcher up to speed on what you need. Also helping remind people how to get to the FAQs and whatnot. But we're really happy to have you on the show, Anthony. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be seeing you at NAB this year. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but can you help the viewers and also just help us understand what is your history with video production, and how did Switcher become involved with what you do?
Well, with regards to video production, I even started doing video production in college. Actually graduated with a film degree and went from that to working in a studio, and the producer of that studio was working on an independently produced TV series for PBS. So within a couple years, I was working on a multi-camera live switch production that was aired on PBS for 15 years. And, that just, blossoming, going from one production to the next, and working on different studios, and moving down here to Texas, went freelance down here, and an opportunity came for me to build my own studio, something I wanted to do because I had always worked in other people's studios, and it's always like, well, why did they do this and why did they do that? And now I had a chance to build my own studio, and I did that, and had 4-camera live switch, all based around a TriCaster. It was all hardware, all hardwired, and lighting grid and everything like you picture a studio to be. And then
very complicated.
We're using that for about 6 months, and the lady I had in to do a regular monthly series, she was like, "Can we take this on the road?" And I was like, "I really don't want to disassemble everything. No, I don't." So what I really wanted to do was find an alternative that would let me do something that was more lightweight, easier to transport, wireless, if I could find it. And looking around and doing different searches, I came across Switcher Studio, and I remember seeing it like before is just Reco Live. And so I checked it out and I was like, wow, this thing is actually like really well designed. It's very elegant, very Apple-like, I guess you could say. It's intuitive, and a lot of the pain points you find in terms of trying to get multiple cameras synced together, you don't even realize with Switcher Studio, because there's so much engineering on the back end that you just hook up a bunch of cameras and they're all in sync. And that was just like, wow, this is like amazing. So that was one of the things that really hooked me into Switcher Studio. Plus, when you dig into it, you know, the fact that you can go into each camera and color balance them and put a manual white balance and really get a polished look to it very easily was, you know, another great selling point. And, you know, I've just continued to evolve how I use it to fit the needs. So that's where I came into Switcher Studio. And, you know, I've just been pretty regularly using it since I picked it up, really. It
seems like a lot of the stories I hear from some people is like they progress from doing something like the traditional studio switcher and just a switcher. I mean, a video switcher just means I can switch from source to source. I mean, that's really where the name of switcher comes from, but progressing into more complex gear. And it's what I'm hearing about switcher users, it always goes, they get to a certain point where it becomes extremely complex, and that becomes like very, very annoying and cumbersome, and you start to find a way and you fall into switcher where we've kind of solved a lot of those headaches and issues, I think, that are commonly associated with that, but allow you to do more, you know, portable sort of productions with what you're doing, right?
Yeah, you know, the ability to go into a place and like I have a regular production that I do, and I'll bring 6 or 7 cameras, and a couple of them are on motion heads, which really makes it more dramatic because I can then move the cameras around. I can have one camera do the podium and then swing around to get an audience shot. So it's like I have even more cameras than the ones that I brought, and being able to bring all of that equipment in just 2 small cases and a long case for stands is amazing. To do the same thing with traditional gear would be, I mean, those cases would just be carrying the wire that would be needed to just hook all the cameras together. And because I'm leveraging a couple hotspots, all that wire is inconsequential. So that alone is like a huge difference.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. So let's talk briefly about NAB. So National Association of Broadcasters, big, gigantic show. Happens annually in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's coming up here April 6th through 11th. The exhibition is open from, I think, 8th through 11th. Switcher will be there. I will find our booth number and we'll post it in the comments later on. I can't remember right now. But we will be there.
We have area.
We're going to be in the Sprocket area. So if you ask somebody, hey, where's Sprocket? We're hanging out with a bigger group. At Sprocket, we have our own little area, so definitely come see us. Anthony, you're going to be doing some remote productions from NAB as well, and I hear you're going to be using Switcher for that. So what are you planning on taking to make this even possible? Because I mean, you're going to be on foot in this gigantic convention hall. Like, how are you accomplishing this with Switcher? What kind of gear are you using?
Well, it's actually a repeat of what I did last year. And, you know, I've actually been doing a little bit of work this week to finesse it and see what kind of upgrades I can do to it. And what I do is on the tripod, I have my iPad, and then I have an additional camera on an arm. So I have 2 cameras, and what it allows me to do is I can speak with the person I'm interviewing to the iPad with a wide-angle lens, and that gets both of us and the booth that we're in on the show floor, and we have a camera light above that. And then when the person I'm interviewing, because they're really the focus, you know, don't worry about me. They're the focus. So I have a second camera that focuses on them, so that as they're explaining whatever tool, whatever software package, whatever solution they have, we focus on them, and then I, you know, give a close, and then we go back to the graphics. And we use Switcher Studio because we do a live switch on the tripod. It's all run off of a battery, and we have an opening graphic with music and everything, and then it comes to me, my title comes up, and then we go to the person I'm talking to, their title comes up, and if needed, we could take the iPad and go around the booth and take, a couple pictures of whatever we're going to be talking about and bring them in while we're talking about it, if the person can't just hold it in their hand, type of thing.
Yeah.
And then when we're done, it goes to a closing musical musical bumper, and then we just stop the record right there, and it's done. And we just pick this whole thing up and carry it to the next place. And so one of the things we're looking to improve, last year we did the switching on the iPad, that was the camera. And one of the issues was tapping the screen, of course, makes the iPad move a little bit. So I'm taking the iPad, moving it down, and using a camera or a phone as the second camera. Well, that creates a very complex challenge in that last year, my iPad was connected to the phone directly. One Ethernet cable between the two devices, and that worked beautifully. But now when you have three, you can't do that anymore, and you have to come up with a hub. You have to, and then not just a hub, but it has to be a hub that you can power from the battery that's powering everything else.
Oh man, okay. Now it's getting a little technical, but
it becomes a little bit more complex. But I have it running. I've been doing some tests and letting it run for hours and hours and hours and seeing how things hold up. And I have it all solved. And at this point, I can expand it to 3 and 4 cameras if I wanted to.
But you probably wouldn't be able to do something like this with there's really not other ways of doing something this portable, like live switching.
There's nothing else that's this portable, because all the processing happens in the iPad, and you're going to have the iPad anyway, so that just makes it easy. I mean, you could do it on your phone if you needed to.
All right. Well, Dan?
Yeah, I've got a question for you.
Dan's going to chime in.
I don't know how much time you're going to actually have at the NAB, but I'm curious to see if there's any buzzwords that people are talking about this year, anything you're excited to see on the show floor or to check out. Yeah, I'd love to hear that as well, as someone who's been doing this for a long time and has kind of seen the transition from giant cameras to now we're using mobile phones.
Is that for me?
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, one of the big things, again, like I said, I built my studio around the TriCaster, which is, it's a box. But the TriCaster can also leverage cell phones that use an app. So you can run what they call an NDI, which is network video. It's kind of like Switcher Studio, but it's open to anything. And the big pain point has been, well, if you've got a camcorder, then you have to buy a box that has NDI in it, and then the box will transmit back to the TriCaster. Well, why do I need to spend, $500 or $600 on a box to convert it? Why can't somebody just build a camcorder with NDI in it? And Panasonic, this year, like a month ago, they announced that they have a camcorder that has NDI in it, and you just plug Ethernet into the camera and you go. And of course, you could also put it on to a Wi-Fi network, so you can have a bunch of real 20x zoom cameras running around an arena all on Wi-Fi with NDI, and that works for those higher end solutions. It's still not going to be as portable as like Switcher Studio. Switcher Studio has this very elegant, I can put 7 cameras in a tiny little bag. 7 big camcorders, you're going to need a couple cases. So you're still talking, that's a whole other type of solution. But it's nice to see the bigger companies saying, hey, we can do video wirelessly and networked and build it into the camera.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to see that. I
see a question in here in the comments from Mike, and I don't know if it's for us or for you, Anthony. I'm going to throw this to you anyways. Mike was asking audio wired or wireless. So for your setup, how are you planning to do it?
It was interesting. Last year, we went with a 2.4 gig wireless setup. A lot of people talk about it in the enthusiast group. It was the Samsung Go Mic Mobile. And when we tested it Sunday night at a press event, it worked beautifully. It sounded great. It takes up no space at all. And then when you get on the NAB show floor, it didn't work at all, because there's so much RF going around. Everything is wireless. Everything is on 2.4 gig, and it just couldn't get packets through. So we ended up going to a backup, which was just a regular UHF wireless microphone, and the receiver was just Velcro to the back of the iPad, and that worked flawlessly. You just got to find a frequency that somebody else isn't already on.
Yeah. That's what we're typical. Well, Dan's on a 2.4 gigahertz. The Rode filmmaker kit. It's their wireless transmission. We are on UHF Sennheiser G3s over here. The infamous G3s. Anthony and I have had a spirited discussion about the G3s, the EW or the EK-100. Anywho, well, looking forward to seeing you. We definitely need to meet up when we get to NAB. We'll find a way to reach out. We can meet up. We may be doing another meetup in Las Vegas. I'm not sure if that's. I need to actually email Ian Harrington back. So Ian Harrington, if you're watching, I'm going to be reaching out to you, buddy. But we are trying to coordinate some of those things, even though we're running out of time. April the 8th. I know, I'm not there yet. Well, I'm flying on the 7th, so I'll be there on Sunday, and then we start Monday. So if you're going to be at NAB, stop by the Switcher booth and see us. We've got a little bit more time before that. But also look around for this guy, Anthony Burokas. Anthony, thanks so much for joining us on the show today. Really appreciate the conversation and just giving us insight into how you've been using Switcher. Excited to see how everything works out for you on the NAB show floor. All right?
All righty.
All right, take care, man. Thank you very much.
See you, Anthony.
All right, cool. Well,
thank you, Anthony.
Anthony Burokas, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah,
there he was, right there.
For all the help he does in the user group as well. Thanks, I'm getting notifications from Mark as we speak right now, telling me, I think you put it in the comments as well, but North Hall and Central Lobby booth N3336SP.
Oh, great.
/B.
Everybody got that?
I'll make a lower third as we're...
You guys got that?
I'll make a lower third. We'll put it in there.
I heard a P and an N.
Couple N's,
I think there was a 3. So just look for that, and you'll find us at NAB. All right, Dan's going to literally make a lower third.
One of the great things you can do is Switcher.
Right now. Anywho, maybe while Dan's doing that, I can talk to you about what's going to be going on later on today. We mentioned Anthony's part of the Switcher Studio Enthusiast group, but before Angela tells you about that, I want to remind you that today at 4 p.m. in the Switcher Studio Enthusiast group, there will be a webinar watch party. And in that time, we're going to watch a video. We are all going to be in the comments hanging out together, and any questions you have about Switcher Studio specific about how do I get this work, or how do I get a stereo microphone into Switcher, or how can I do multi-views, any of those kind of questions, come see us at 4 p.m. That's Eastern time, here every Wednesday in the Switcher Studio Enthusiast user group. Just go ahead and join that group. Come see us. We'll be having a watch party, and ask us any questions you have, technical or not, about Switcher. How do they get into that user group in the first place, Angela?
So there's 3 ways that they can do that. The first is if you're on Facebook right now, go ahead and search for Switcher Studio Enthusiasts, and that's going to take you to the group. The second way, if you're watching this on Facebook as well and you're on our actual Facebook page, there's a menu, and one of the menu options is groups. If you click on groups, that's also going to take you to Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. And the third way, if you already have a Switcher Studio account, go ahead and log into that account at switcherstudio.com. That's going to take you to your online dashboard, and you're going to see an option to join the online community. So any of these 3 methods will work. There's a short survey to fill out that just lets us know more about how you're using Switcher Studio and how we can help you out. And after that, you're going to have full access to the group. So not only are all of us in there, you've got people like Anthony in there. You've got a lot of great users that are there to help you out, and people are sharing tips and tricks. They're sharing examples of videos they've created. And if you have any questions such as, is anyone doing X, Y, or Z, a lot of people will jump in and let you know exactly how they're doing that.
Yeah, so do that. Join the group.
You guys, let me bring myself in.
Do it now.
Here too. You guys want to know that number?
I do want to know that number. All right, get a pen. Bam.
There we go.
NAB, North Hall and Central Lobby, N33365-B.
S6S-B.
Oh, God. 6SB.
It's okay. It looked like a 5 back here.
I'm pretty sure if you follow us on Facebook,
yeah, you'll
Instagram,
find us.
Twitter,
if you want to find us, you'll figure it out.
So, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you again, Anthony, for joining us. That's great. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, he's still hanging out too. He's just kind of offline, but he's still here watching. So,
I can still bring him in. Yeah, there he is. You can't hear him. I've got him muted, but
you're muted. It's totally muted. Yeah, what's he saying? He's making really angry faces now, so I'm glad we have him muted. All right.
All right, cool. So, yeah, that again, if you want to check us out at the NAB, that's where we'll be. Anthony's going to be all over the floor, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, check that stuff out. But I'm kind of excited about this Made with Switches. This is kind of a last-minute thing we decided on, and I think it's kind of a cool story how it came up. So, you know what? Let's do this Made with Switcher.
All right, so we always like to feature someone who has created amazing and great things with Switcher Studio. So we always ask you to use that hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher whenever you post something to Facebook, or maybe just go ahead and tweet and say, hey, I posted this thing, hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher. And we typically look around, and we really do go look through there. I will go to Twitter and I will look for hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher, see some different videos. This video today is from me. I just did it last night.
Yay, Jimmy!
Out of nowhere. Yeah, I do like side gigs and freelance stuff. Somebody asked me to record some audio and video. I secretly though, I wasn't planning on using Switcher. I just wanted like a single camera and some audio. So I was just gonna take my typical rig, which is my DSLR and whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a couple cameras. So I brought the two, in fact, this entire setup for Stream Squad, I just took it with me when I left the office yesterday. So I had two iPhone 7s. This is an iPhone 7 here. There's another iPhone 7, and then iPhone 7 Plus in the middle. That's the video that is on Facebook. So this is for a performing arts school that is here in Louisville, and I went ahead and had the audio recording already. So I had a good stereo recording. I just piped the audio over into the iPad Pro with the it's the USB-C multi-port adapter, and I use the Andrea Audio USB-SA. It's a stereo audio interface that we've talked about several times back, but it's just a really small stereo interface if you want to get stereo audio in digitally to an iPad. And so yeah, I just had 3 cameras set up. I put one literally on the mic stand for the microphone. So you can get kind of a close-up shot of the performers. I had one on top of my DSLR so I could zoom in from there. And then I had one that was kind of more centered so I can get a wider shot. Yeah, I just kind of on a whim asked if they wanted me to stream it. I didn't charge them anything for it. I just said, I'm just trying to see how this works a little bit, and just see if this is something you all want to do. We might be working on some other projects for the school in the future, but anyhow, this just kind of came together at the last minute. I was able to in 20 minutes I had this set up. I just had the gear with me. None of it was set. And I said, hey, do you want me to stream this? And they were like, yeah, I guess so. So I got access to the Facebook page. I went and put a camera on the mic stand there. You can't even see it in that shot, but there's an iPhone just hanging on that mic stand. And then I brought a Google Puck, and I have an M1 Nighthawk now that we have here at Switcher Studio to use for our different remote rigs. So anyhow, all this kind of came together last minute. I was able to put it together into a multi-camera production. It was like a 2-hour-long stream. Literally, my SD card on my camera ran out before any of the iPhones died or ran out of storage.
Wow.
So it's definitely something that was not expected.
Do you know what?
But I'm lucky I did it because I got a backup shot, and otherwise I would have had to, I wouldn't have missed it, but I said, I've got the backup. I'll just turn it off and switch this SD card out. But yeah, Switcher to the rescue.
This production here, and it's not, you can't really see it from here. I'll put the link in the description if anyone wants to see the actual setup. And Jimmy did put a nice post out in the user group talking about how we set this up. But what I liked about it is no one was really expecting this to go live or anything, and all the comments on it were awesome. Everyone was saying, this is great, this is go kids go, everyone was cheering them on and rooting for them and praising them for how good they were doing. I thought it was awesome that I think it's up to almost 2,000 people now who wouldn't have been able to see this otherwise and are now able to see their kids or it might be a grandparent out of town or something. They're able to see and join in, and it's just one of those things where it went from being just the one camera that Jimmy had for after the fact to, hey, let's watch it live. So I thought that was really cool.
Bring in my phone real quick on, I've got the pictures.
Okay, let me just...
I've got to just screen share my display on 10R. Does that work?
All right, let me put that. Make
awesome.
sure you're on G1 there, Jimmy.
I am.
I don't see you.
Okay, cool. Great. Oh, it's because it's recording in my camera roll. That's why. So here, let's do it again.
All right, we'll do this live. Here we go.
Yeah, it's SwitcherCast, start broadcast. Okay, there we go. So that's 3, 2, 1, and then you'll see it. Yeah, now you can see it.
Now I can see it.
Bam. So here's just a picture of the...
Let me get...
This is the one angle that's right there on the piano. If you can get it in there.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There it is. So there's one camera just right on the piano. I just zoomed in from there, you can see. And then here is just the iPad Pro right there, just in the very back of the room. Just 3 angles, I had like 2 or 3 graphics. And then here's the setup. So you can see there's my DSLR. And then right on top of it, I've got the iPhone 7 Plus. And then over to the left there, it's super overexposed, but that's just so you can see what's going on in the back there is my Google Wi-Fi puck, and the M1 is down there on the ground. So that's pretty much the whole setup. Those 3 things. Hashtag made with Switcher. Definitely, if you're going to be making any videos with Switcher Studio, give us a little hashtag made with Switcher whenever you post it so that we can find your videos and we can feature them right here on the show. This week was very self-indulgent because I did this last night and we were like, did we get confirmation yet of the other? No, okay, let's just do this one. So anyhow, do that.
Yeah, you can let us know about those on Twitter.
Do right there. Tweet it.
Tweet at us. We check.
Instagram.
Or in Instagram. What else can you do?
LinkedIn Live soon, right?
Yeah, pretty soon.
Check us
You'll
out
find
on
us there.
LinkedIn if you
Switcher
want.
Studio. Just check us out.
Of course, there's the Facebook.
Naturally.
And
all those socials.
YouTube.
All the things.
Come join us on those places.
Everywhere. We're everywhere.
Literally. Well, that's it for our show.
Yeah.
It's over now.
I saw Alan in here said Jimmy's audio is much better than Angela's. I just turned Angela's mic down a little bit earlier because she was a little hot. I probably just turned it down too far. We're using a different mixer, different audio setup, so yeah, it probably, I can do this right here and it's probably going to sound a lot better. Thanks for letting us know, though. I mean, always good to hear. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it, right? That's it for our show. Don't forget to follow us. We're here once again every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Facebook.com/SwitcherStudio. We got to figure out who's going to drink the smoothie. Oh yeah, Nick was asking if anyone took it. Nick, I think it's going to be sitting here next week for Stream Squad. It's still going to be sitting right here. You know what? I'll do it. Dan's going to do it. Okay, get over for me. I'm doing it. I'm bringing it to Dan. Dan's getting the. Let's do it like this. Bet you guys didn't see this one coming. It's starting up there. Talk about switching it up. Oh, he's drinking it. He really is drinking it. Terrible? It's pretty bad. All right. Yeah, what flavor? Wait, leave us. I taste some banana. Leave us a comment of what you think, what flavor you think this looks like. So thanks everybody for tuning in to Stream Squad Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe if you haven't already clicked off of this crazy ending to this video. All right. Thanks for watching, you all. We will see you next week. See you guys. Later.